So guys, I've been reading some really good books. I am currently reading Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. I'm only on page 25. It sounds crazy. Basically, we're following this lady. We're not given a name. She's called the Mother. And basically, she believes that she's turning into a dog. But what I'm gathering so far is it's a really interesting commentary on motherhood and being a woman and your identity when you become a mother, because she loves her child and yet she also used to have like a big career and it was her dream job. She is trying to balance it all and is almost like wondering why should she be allowed to be angry or tired when she has it all. Her husband does nothing. Like, he is not minding. He just doesn't wake up at night when the baby's crying, like all this. She's just referred to as the mother, and it's almost she doesn't have her own identity. It's her whole life is now being a mother. She wakes up in the night because the baby's crying and she gets really angry and frustrated. So she jokingly says to her husband, "Oh yeah, I'm the night bitch." And she's kind of like, "Oh, I don't want to be like this," but she keeps asking him, "I think I'm turning into a dog, like do you see this? There's like hair going at the back of her neck," and she feels like her canines are getting really sharp. Obviously unusual, but I am really interested, and like I said, I'm not really far into it, but also I love the cover. I got this like a year and a half ago, and I've heard, no, even longer, maybe 2 years ago, but I've heard like nothing but good things about it ever since. I just never got around to it, but I'm really just back into reading literary fiction ever since I've been here. That's all I want to read, which I love because I hadn't read it in a while, and that is the genre that I've always loved and been most into. So I'm really happy that I want to read all those books again. So I also read 2 other books recently that I didn't talk about at all, but they were both 5 stars, so that's why I want to talk about it, because they had 2 5 stars in a row, which is crazy. So I read Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, and let me take this off because the glare. This is the first book that I've ever read by her, and I actually need to read all of her books. That book was amazing. So Yellowface basically follows our main protagonist, who is a white author, and she is like friends with this other author. She's not really friends with her. She is an Asian author, and she is really successful, like way more successful than our main character, and our main character basically just despises her. She's very bitter towards her, and basically one day they are having dinner together because they went to college together, I think, and she basically dies. That's at the back, so that's not a spoiler, but she dies, and basically our main character finds her manuscript. So it was an unfinished manuscript. She had done the first draft of her brand new book, and our main character decides to steal the manuscript and plagiarize it and use it as her own. And we have an unreliable narrator. We are watching her like go insane with almost the guilt, but also she's not guilty, and the whole time she's trying to justify her actions to us, and you start to think, oh, is she really that bad? Like, you don't, but that's what it's trying to achieve, and it is so good. It's a commentary on the publishing world, and what I loved about it discussed so many topics. It delves into the online book community in the book world, publishing, race, even like gender, like all of these things, which I just thought was done incredibly, and it was such a good book. I was blown away. I read it so quickly, and definitely giving that 5 stars because I was obsessed. I actually started an audiobook, which normally does kind of hinder my experience in terms of how much I love it, but it was so good, and I would highly recommend anyone to read that. And then while I was traveling, I saw that this book, the only reason that I picked this up is because I'd heard of it for a while, and it was on sale for €1 on the Kindle store, so I got it, and that was The Dangers of Smoking in Bed. And this book was amazing. It's a collection of short stories. It reminded me in a way of Otessa Moshfegh's writing in that she uses a lot of grotesque language and kind of discusses things that are, she's not afraid to make the reader uncomfortable or discuss like stuff that are just kind of gross. And that sounds really weird, but it is such an interesting exploration of themes you would never, I don't even know how she thinks of these things. Like every single short story was good. There was none that I was kind of bored with. Like in Otessa Moshfegh's, what is it called? Homesick for Another World. I did not love all of the stories in that. Whereas this one I was obsessed with. It's quite short. I could be wrong, but I think it's only like 200-ish pages. And I keep thinking about these short stories. Like I can't stop thinking about them. And even though I actually would read any of these as a full novel, I think that she did an incredible job of writing short stories in a way that made me feel content and made me feel like what was written was enough. Like she got enough detail in there within those short pages, which I just thought was so good. All of these stories are based in South America. A lot of them are in Buenos Aires. And yeah, they're quite dark, trigger warnings for sure, but I would highly recommend, and that was also 5 stars. So yeah, it's been really successful, and I feel like this is also going to be incredible, as well as Intermezzo, which I started. Yeah, things have been really successful. I've also been reading, well, I say reading, I'm trying to learn Norwegian because I just love it here so much. And even though everyone speaks English, to get a job in the future I would need Norwegian. So like if I wanted to permanently put down roots here, I need Norwegian. So I'm trying to learn it by myself. I obviously know it's gonna take a while, but I thought I love reading. I really like learning languages, and why not combine both of them together? I was watching a YouTube video of a girl who learned Norwegian by herself in like a year, and she is incredibly able to speak it. People in the comments who are Norwegian were saying that she sounded like she was a native, which was really impressive. So she gave a lot of recommendations, and one of them was to get a book and try read it. So I got Normal People by Sally Rooney because I've read it so many times. I know this is probably a book that people will be like, you're not going to be able to read that, it's too hard. I know. I don't know how successful I'm going to be, but I'm going to try my best. I'm going through it really slowly. I feel like I'm getting the grammar and the vocab and all that in at the same time, and it's showing me how the sentence structure works. So I've been trying to read this. I am actively reading Night Bitch, and I am also going to continue with Intermezzo. Reading has been very successful. I need to do some more study tonight. I need to catch up on competition law because it is an intense amount of reading, but that's okay. It's my favourite class here, so I don't mind doing it. I'm going to just put on some nice music and get some work done. I'm back in Oslo, but I went home, and it's so weird because I love here so much and I love home so much that literally I didn't think a year abroad would be making me question how I'm going to figure out how to live in these two places at once. Like it's just, I'm so lucky because some people don't love their Erasmus and all that, but yeah, I don't know what it is. I think I feel like I've lived here my whole life, even though I've been here like 12 weeks, which is just crazy. But I'm trying to convince myself, do I love it because I'm a student and it's student life, and would I love it as much if I was living here without other students and without like friends and learning the language? And yeah, I don't know, it's really interesting. So I am done my study for the evening. I'm going over to my friend's house in a little while because two of my friends are getting to go home in the next few days and traveling. So we kind of have one more night before we're away from each other for a little bit, and we see each other most nights. So we're gonna have a little movie night, and yeah, I'm glad that I got a bit of work done. So now I can just relax for the evening. I'm gonna read for a little bit and then yeah, I'll head out. I've kind of been, I haven't read that much today, but I read a bit on the metro and I really liked. I had a bit of relaxed time, which is good. I'm gonna make some dinner. Yeah, I think I have like an hour or so before I go over. It's only 2 minutes away, so I don't have to do anything. I'm just gonna make a hot water bottle and relax because I just need some reading time.